Hello, everybody. It is Hump Day. I was going to say Wednesday, but it's Wednesday. You don't say Wednesday anymore on Bradshaw Live. It's Hump Day. It is Hump Day, June 24th. I have to put that on mute. June 24th. I don't know why this is not on mute. There we go. June 24th, 2020. And congratulations to law offices of Spar and Bernstein. We are back in our office as of today. We are out of quarantine, although I am still, I was down at the office earlier. I'm still in my dining room doing our quarantine pop-up. This will be our last week of quarantine pop-up. We will be back in the studios on Monday for our regular, I don't even know when the last time we did a regular Bradshaw Live, probably some date in March. I don't remember the exact date. It was so long ago. I think we've done almost close to 50 pandemic pop-ups or something close to that. But I think March, sometime in mid-March was our last time we did a live Bradshaw Live. I'll be back in studio with Yo-Yo. I will be back with Nesquik all on Monday. So please tune in 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that's a 5:30 p.m. Bradshaw time, which you guys know what that means. It could be 5:30, 5:40, 5:50, but somewhere in there. But in the meantime, we got to do our hopefully this will be the last time ever that we do a Hump Day pandemic edition. In the meantime, the first person, congratulations, the first person in the comments section on Facebook today, Yo-Yo. He is anxious to get back into studio. He was the first one in the comment section. Squad up, Yo-Yo. Geraldine LG saying, hey, Brad, how are you? Dixie Peach, squad up. Denise Johnson Green, squad up. Cher, blessed, highly favored parent. Her name seems to get longer every week. I don't know what words she's going to add to her name next week, but it seems that her name keeps getting longer and longer. Mana Lion Jackson is watching. How are you? Regal Christie, Opie Ewan, squad up. Marcia Watson, Jessica Leamy saying squad up. Lisa Bling Rose, Sasha Ford, Corrine Gray, squad up. Joan Grant. I think I said Dionne Watson, but I did not say Dionne Reed. Squad up. Carol Anderson, the Tiger. How are you? Sasha Ford. My friend Mark Grossman watching, I see as well. Let me say hello on YouTube. Sexy Shan Myers saying, hey, Brad, what's going on? Carol, the Top Cat Tigers to Anderson. She's double fisting, watching both on YouTube and Facebook. Back it up, Ricky. What's up? Life of a New Moon Sasha and AJ Ford. Well, AJ Ford used to be just AJ Ford. But now I think AJ is with Sasha. So I think they're a combined couple now. And he's saying, squat up, everyone, and Uncle Brad. I'm watching in two places. Tia Prasad, Kemar Solomon, what's going on? Rupan Thakador. Rupan, he is a very popular guy. Every day he has a new question from a new friend. Denise Johnson, how are you? Ina P, greetings. Mr. A. Shacker, squad up. And Jessica Leamy, Joelle, also double fisting. Kamar Solomon, I think I said hello to. Kamar going on a tirade of a question. He can't seem to be able to get his whole question in one comment. It's going on in multiple comments. That's going to be hard for me, Kamar. See if you can get your question in one full comment. And Angela Rawlings, squad up. Tally. Reminding people, do not forget to share with your friends and family. So that's a good segue, Tally. You do have to share with your friends and family. You guys are our publicists and advertisers. If you guys don't share, nobody knows this show exists. So please kindly press that little button on Facebook. Right below, assume you're watching on your phone or on your tablet, there's a share button, and you can press it. And it says, write a post, watch a party, copy a link, send to Messenger. So let's talk about this for a second. You can start a watch party right now. If you start a watch party, which I'm going to do, why not? I'm going to start it. I started a watch party, And you will be notified when people are going to join your watch party. You'll see how many people like to follow you. Meanwhile, I started my own watch party on my own Facebook page, and I already have people watching. So please share this with your friends and family, and as well as start your watch parties. You could also, by the way, when you share this, you can copy the link. When you copy the link, you can, by the way, someone has to tell Lenny to stop texting me. When you copy the link, you can put this in your messenger. You can put this. Lenny always seems to messenger me. She feels the need that she needs to messenger me every time the show starts, like 20 messages, 20, 30 in a row. Stop it, please. She's like, keeps going and going and going and going, and it comes in my notification. It drives me crazy while I'm trying to do a show. Meanwhile, if you do, by the way, share this, you can copy a link and put it in Messenger and send this to your friends. You can also post this onto your own timeline. So Facebook people, there's lots and lots of things that you can do to share this show. And on YouTube, we have 70 plus people watching right now, only 26 thumbs up. Turn that gray thumb blue. And right next to those thumbs, there's a share button. And you can share this also on your Twitter page, on your Facebook page. You can copy the link and send it into a WhatsApp to all of your friends. I do also have to remind everybody that we do have a Brad Squad fan page. But to become a member of the Brad Squad, you've got to subscribe on YouTube. If you do not subscribe on YouTube, you cannot become a member of the Brad Squad. You also have to follow and like us on Facebook. If you do both, you can go to Jilly Bean, kind of cozy up to her, and ask for permission to join our Brad Squad, one of the greatest groups ever created in the history of the world. As a matter of fact, I was once corrected because I said it was one of, and somebody said, no, not one of, the greatest group ever in the history of the world. Also, it is our consultation giveaway day. I have in my scratchy hat the names of every person who liked Bouncing Brad on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And if you liked Bouncing Brad and you tagged 5 of your friends on Instagram, you got put into my hat, my scratchy old hat, to be able to get a free consultation from me. I'm going to pull the names. Why not? I'll pull it out right now. Let me shake it up a little bit, and let's see who won a free consultation with me valued at $200. And the winner of the free consultation with Bouncing Brad on Instagram is, I have a new system, by the way. I wrote all the names on Post-its. Made my life a lot easier. It was a lot faster. Let's see. So I posted today. It is B. Carolyn 22. B. Carolyn 22. She is the winner. By the way, this is my handwriting, so I put all the names in the hat myself today. B. Carolyn entered twice. She tagged 10 friends. She tagged 5 and then another 5. So she got put in the hat twice. And because she got put in the hat twice, gave her twice a chance to win. So she won a free consultation with me valued at $200. Do we have a new lead? Do we have a new free consultation giveaway? Let's see what it is. It is me with the award for best web series at Synopsis. If you find me, Brad, with the award for best web series in Synopsis and me holding the trophy, you tag 5 of your friends. You like that post. You follow us at Brad Show Live on Instagram. You too could be picked out of the hat for a free consultation next Wednesday. Also, you see my name scrolling on the bottom, followed by a telephone number. If you want to get on my list to get a telephone call back from me, it is very straightforward. We make this very easy. You dial the number 1-800-529-5465, or you dial, if you're international, 1-212-227-8933, and you ask to be put on my list. You schedule a consultation with me. Whether you are a new client or an existing client, You just call that number. You get on my list. And if you get on my list, you'll get a telephone call back. That's how we roll here. And finally, a little later, by the way, we are going to, Jonathan, we've got to get everybody back into Yo-Yo. So Yo-Yo is going to be joining us, and it is Hump Day. And we're going to play a little Bratified Marriage with Georgia and Matteo, a couple visiting New York City from Italy. This was filmed last year. We're going to do a little Bratified Marriage, but it was filmed before coronavirus time. There's Yo-Yo having fun out in the park with the two of them. We haven't seen these guys yet, so this will be a fun to watch in a little bit. In the meantime, Lee, I hope you're ready. We got to do something that we like to call schmoozing with Brad. So now, according to statistics from the Johns Hopkins University, there are now over 9.3 million coronavirus cases worldwide. 479,000 people confirmed dead from coronavirus. It's almost 500,000 people. 4.6 million people have recovered. Those numbers are way low. It is substantially more. This is just confirmed cases. In the United States, that's worldwide. In the United States, over 2.3 million people have been diagnosed with coronavirus. America is now close to over 122,000 confirmed deaths. At least 26 states now are seeing a rise in cases compared to the previous week, according to Johns Hopkins. Yesterday, Texas reported more than 5,400 cases in a single day, breaking its previous record. Texas is also one of 7 states seeing record hospitalizations. California recorded 5,000 new cases on Monday. In Florida, officials announced 3,289 new cases. Arizona, 3,591 new cases. America is counting for 25% of the world's total infections and global deaths. Experts have said that many states are completely unprepared and have reopened way too soon, and that is what is leading to these great surges. Now, that's in stark contrast with other parts of the world, including countries in Europe, which have lowered their case counts with the help of longer lockdowns, and they have now begun to slowly reopen. There is rumors going around that Americans will not be allowed to go into Europe once it reopens, but we'll see what happens as July 1st rolls around and Europe begins to open to other countries. Meanwhile, today in New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo, New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, and Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont declared that anyone coming from states with high infection rates are going to be ordered to self-quarantine for 2 weeks. Now, Cuomo said the rules in New York are going to apply to anyone who sets foot in the states in question. He conceded the restrictions would mostly be enforced on the honor system, but he warned that anyone violating the order may be subject to fines and mandatory quarantine. We have no idea. Basically, he's getting back at Florida because Florida did this to New Yorkers about 6 weeks ago. And Cuomo's a Democrat and the governor, and Florida's a Republican, but he's doing this with many states. I have no idea how in the world anybody is going to enforce that. Meanwhile, today, a former prosecutor testified to the House Judiciary Committee that the Justice Department gave Roger Stone unprecedentedly favorable treatment because he's an ally of President Trump. Aaron Zelensky, an attorney on former special counsel Robert Mueller's team and one of the lawyers who prosecuted Stone, said although a supervisor acknowledged this was unethical and wrong, which it was, I mean, nobody can argue that, the Justice Department leadership from the highest levels pressured then acting U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Timothy Shea, cut Stone a break. Now, specifically, Zelensky told lawmakers that the Department of Justice leaders sought to weaken a weaker sentence for Stone at Attorney General William Barr's direction because, quote, they were afraid of the president. Stone was found guilty in 2019 of lying to the House Intelligence Committee about his attempts to contact WikiLeaks, the website that released damaging emails about Hillary Clinton. Prosecutors, including Mr. Zelensky, asked a judge to jail him for at least 7 years, but after Trump took to Twitter calling the sentencing guideline a total miscarriage of justice. He got less than 3.5 years. So his sentence was cut by more than half. Now, since then, Trump has even hinted at a possible pardon. Stone is due to begin his sentence on June 30th. Today, the District Court Circuit of Appeals ordered District Judge Emmett Sullivan to accept the Justice Department's motion to dismiss the case against former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn. Does this seem to sound familiar to what happened with Roger Stone? Can we connect dots? Department of Justice overturning justice for Trump's people. Special counsel Robert Mueller charged Flynn with one count of lying to federal investigators in late 2017. Flynn pled guilty twice to this. And now this is, in my opinion, it's another example of the absolute politicization. I hope I'm saying this word right. Politicization of the Justice Department under Trump and Attorney General Barr. Trump appointee Judge Naomi Rayo authored the majority opinion for the order, spelling out how the court believed that Judge Sullivan overstepped his authority by appointing an outside former judge to argue against the Justice Department and Flynn's legal team. There was a judge who hired a judge to argue that Flynn should not get released. That's how strongly the trial judge in Flynn's case thought that this was an absolute, I'm going to say the word again and I'm going to botch it, politicization of the Justice Department under Trump. Now, meanwhile, states honoring Confederate historical figures, statues honoring Confederate historical figures, they are falling like hotcakes amid continued anti-racism demonstrations that have followed the May 25th police killing in Minneapolis of George Floyd. President Trump said yesterday he plans to issue an executive order to protect statues of many Confederate racist historical figures and other historical figures who owned slaves. Many of these historical figures fought a war, the Civil War, to maintain slavery and the plantation system. Now, why after 150 years, the end of slavery, more than 150 years ago, we're still honoring Confederate soldiers? I have no idea. I don't understand why we are. These were people who wanted to leave America and maintain slavery and the plantation system. Why are we honoring them? Why did it take over 150 years for somebody to say something? Now, Trump offered no details, but he says he doesn't want these statues to go down. He says, I will have an executive order very shortly. All it's going to do is reinforce what's already there, but in a more uniform way, he told reporters. We are looking at long-term jail sentences for vandals and hoodlums and anarchists and agitators who, like in this video that we just saw recently, are trying to take down the statues. Now, Trump's remarks came a day after protesters, that what we're looking at right now is protesters trying to tear down former President Andrew Jackson in Lafayette Park across from the White House. Jackson was president in the 1820s. He came from, I believe, Kentucky. He was a brutal, brutal president, killed lots and lots of people in order to increase the land of the United States of America. It's a historical fact. And I believe he also was a slave owner. Now, Trump said that several people have been jailed for trying to remove the Andrew Jackson statue, and then others would be charged soon. Now, this was quite a story. Deputies, they arrested Natalie White, and she is accused of torching. She's the one who threw the Molotov cocktail into the Wendy's, burned down Wendy's in retaliation, presumably for the gunning down of Rayshard Brooks in the back in front of this Wendy's. It turns out Natalie White may well have been Rayshard Brooks's girlfriend. Now, Brooks had referred to White as his girlfriend during the June 12th traffic stop that ultimately led to his death. And that was right on the body cam footage. Now, White's lawyer, Natalie White, said they definitely were close friends, but he did not comment if they were more than close friends. Now, obviously, she was, quite angry over his death. She burned down the Wendy's. So there was a relationship there, obviously. To what extent, we will find out. Now, yesterday, one of the officers who murdered 26-year-old Breonna Taylor in Louisville, Kentucky, was fired. It took Louisville, Kentucky 3 months to do this. At least in Atlanta, the cops were fired immediately. 3 months it took them to fire this guy. Detective Brett Hankison was informed in a letter signed by the police chief that his employment with the department is terminated. Police Chief Robert Schroeder wrote, maybe 90 days too late, Officer Schroeder, but he wrote it, that Hinkson violated standard operating procedures when his actions displayed an extreme indifference to the value of human life when he wantonly and blindly fired 10 rounds into Taylor's apartment, killing her. It took you 90 days to figure that one out? Now, on June 12th, the Louisville City Council unanimously voted. This is what makes me so angry. Why would it take you 90 days to figure that one out? On June 12th, the Louisville City Council unanimously voted to ban local law enforcement from using no-knock warrants, and that's how this whole entire incident with the unfortunate death of Breonna Taylor took place. Meanwhile, NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace was not the target of a hate crime. It was concluded by the FBI. If you were watching the news for the last couple of days, Bubba came to his stall where he keeps his car, where they do, I guess, the mechanic work on his car or his race cars, and found a noose in the garage. Bubba Wallace is the only black driver on the NASCAR circuit. But now, according to a joint statement from U.S. Attorney and the FBI, that noose was in the garage since at least October 2019. Nobody could have known that Wallace's team would be assigned to that stall. This is after interviews by 15 special agents. Now, NASCAR President Steve Phelps announced that the sport's own investigation is going to continue. Why the hell is there a noose in this stall in the first place? Now, apparently, what the FBI and the U.S. Attorney is saying is that the noose was used to pull down the garage door of that particular stall where the cars were being held. Why do you need a noose to pull down a garage door? Why couldn't you just tie a rope to the garage door and pull it like everybody else? So, you have to specifically make a noose. That's to hang somebody. And it certainly is something that is tantamount to some sort of racial statement, because that's how they used to torture and kill blacks in the South. Now, NASCAR President Steve Phelps announced that the sport's own investigation is going to continue. Why is there a noose in this garage? Why couldn't you just tie a rope to something on the garage door to pull it up and down? Everyone else in the garage has a rope and it hangs down. Why is there a noose? So we'll find out more. But what we do know is that there was nothing directed particularly to Bubba Wallace. We still don't know why there was a noose in a NASCAR garage since October 2019. Now, one of the coldest places on Earth yesterday recorded its hottest temperature ever. A small Siberian town by the name of Verkhoyansk. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It is one of the coldest places on Earth. It's in Siberia. If you've ever watched old movies and they were in Russia and they would go arrest somebody in Russia, they said, send him to Siberia. There is nothing in Siberia except snow. There's nothing there. It is snow. It is in the Arctic Circle. Or a lot of it is. Part of it's not, but a lot of it is. Well, now, and also apparently now there's Siberian cities of millions of people. But in the old, in your old movies you would see send them to Siberia. It was freezing cold. It was up in the Arctic Circle. Nothing there. So that's what people expect when they hear Siberia. And as a matter of fact, it is this town is one of the coldest towns or one of the coldest places on Earth. And you know what the temperature was yesterday in the coldest or one of the coldest places on Earth? 100.4 degrees. The temperature is the planet's northernmost 100-degree reading ever recorded. In 2020, Siberia has stood out for its extreme temperatures, which have accelerated the melting of snow and ice, contributed to permafrost melt. It has led to a major oil spill. It has gotten the Siberian wildfire season off to an unusually early and severe start. And let me tell you something. From an immigration show, and I've said this multiple times, the thing that is going to cause more migration of people generally around the world is going to be global warming. People are not going to be able to live where they are living, either because they were living off the land and can no longer live off the land because of global warming, or it has gotten too hot or too cold, or the water has risen so high that it is flooded where they are living. Global warming, mark my word, global warming is going to cause more immigration over the next 10 to 20 years than anything the world has ever seen. Now, above normal temperatures are expected to continue across the majority of the Arctic for the remainder of the summer. And with that, it is Hump Day, Lee. Do we have any camels? We're going to be the last week of camels, of cartoon camels, our last week of cartoon camels, because next week we're going back to the stalls. We're getting our real camels out, but there they are, our cartoon camels. And let's see what is going on Hump Day. Now, I want you to know something. As I always say, I don't know what any of these stories are ahead of time. I like to read them as we go along, and we'll see what we came up with for Hump Day this week. Now, does everybody know what a bat mitzvah is? It's a big party when in the Jewish religion when you turn 13. And you go to synagogue, and the 13-year-old goes and does some prayers up in front of the synagogue, and then you have a big party. But because of coronavirus, you can't do bat mitzvahs anymore. So it's all being done by Zoom, by video conference. Now, attendees of the Zoom bat mitzvah for stand-up comic Gilbert Gottfried and wife Dara Kravitz's daughter Lily last week got a little something extra when a 70-year-old guest accidentally took her clothes off. A source told the New York Post she wasn't familiar with how Zoom and video conferencing worked, and she began to take off a bathing suit, got naked, took a shower, all in the middle of the bar mitzvah and entirely on camera for all of the other guests to watch. Apparently, someone remarked, "Oh my God, Francine is naked." But the woman Francine, she just returned from her pool. It was the first time she ever used video conferencing, and it was on mute. So she couldn't even hear people yelling, "Francine, you're naked! Francine, you're naked!" And she just kept hanging out at the bar mitzvah completely nude. Comic Richard Belzer, also famous for his role on Law & Order and its many spin-offs, was attending the Zoom celebration from his home in France. He commented in a chat after the ceremony, "Oh my God, did you see that? The nude woman walking around topless." Now, Belzer added, "Let's all take off our tops just to make her feel comfortable." He said, "Everybody should go topless. And if you want to go bottomless, you can do it too. This is a naked bar mitzvah." Now, another attendee, Joel Magazine, tried to come to Liebman's aid. He said, "I called in a panic and told her 70 people are watching you naked and taking a shower in the middle of a bar mitzvah." But Liebman took it all in stride. The 70-year-old woman said, "That's how I roll," upon learning about her feisty faux pas. Meanwhile, the Bold and Beautiful crew are getting creative when it comes to meeting new production guidelines as a result of coronavirus. The Bold and Beautiful is a daily soap opera. Now, the soap opera temporarily resumed production Wednesday, and one of the producers revealed that they will be making use of one of its blow-up dolls on set to film sex scenes moving forward. Bradley Bell, executive producer and head writer of the long-running soap series, told the New York Post the decision was made with social distancing measures in mind. Taking out all the romantic scenes made it feel flat. So instead, we'll make love on camera to dolls. How does that even work? Bell said the production team gave it a shot, and it was very convincing, he says. It takes a great doll, but we have great dolls, and we'll be using her with hair and makeup as a stand-in to match some of our leading ladies. I would not want to be the actor, the male actor, who has to get into bed and they say, camera, go make go make love to the doll. Meanwhile, the next generation of sex dolls are in hot commodity thanks to the coronavirus. A new, eerily realistic sex robot that can blink, smile, moan, give goosebumps, and even hold a conversation has been flying off the shelves. The doll, sold by Sex Doll Genie and manufactured by Genoid. It's silicone-based, and according to company founders Janet Stevenson and her husband Amit, look and feel like a real human. I have to say, on Bradshaw Live, we are very obsessed with sex dolls. Apparently, we always seem to be talking every hump day. The conversation always goes back to, if you watch every week, our conversations always go back to sex dolls. What's up with Bradshaw Live and sex dolls? I don't even know. Now, these sex dolls are now being used by people worried about coronavirus and couples. Since the pandemic, the Florida-based company saw orders spike by more than 51% in February and March. These high-end dolls, it's $6,000 to $8,000. What are you getting for $6,000 to $8,000 in this doll? They come complete with a full body and equipped with artificial intelligence. I'm not sure what that actually means, but it's a $6,000 piece of plastic with a hole in it. It seems to be a high markup. Now, a lot of Americans, it says here on Hump Day, and I don't know if anybody in Brad's squad can attest to this or not, but a lot of Americans, maybe some of the Brad squad can attest to this. You let me know. A lot of Americans have broken quarantine for booty call. According to new research conducted by one poll on behalf of Mystery Vibe, 3 in 10 Americans have broken quarantine for a booty call. That's almost 1/3 of Americans have left quarantine for booty call. The survey asked 2,000 Americans about their sex lives in lockdown to the coronavirus pandemic and found that 30% have left their homes for sex and 51% have had a sex partner come over for a booty call. Another 3 in 10 respondents who are not self-isolating with a partner have had video sex. 18% had phone sex. Now, the survey found 76% of respondents said they used lockdown as an opportunity to spice up their sex lives. Of those surveyed who are isolating with a partner, 78% are having more sex thanks to their time together. Now, meanwhile, as New York City emerges from lockdown and enters into phase 2 of reopening Monday, a Soho sex club is navigating how to get down and dirty while still staying squeaky clean and coronavirus free. Now, in order for the members-only group NSFW, which stands for New Society for Wellness, to open their clubhouse doors again, they've rolled out an assortment of new rules and regulations. Earlier this month, the city issued some guidelines for group sex, including to do the deed to have sex in a well-ventilated area and keep alcohol sanitizer on hand. The group drafted additional safety precautions, including mandatory temperature checks. Last weekend, NSFW, what does that stand for? They say the New Society for Wellness. I think that's also not something for work also. But last weekend, or not, I forgot what the S stands for, but not, somebody tell me it was not something for work. But what maybe S stands for something, but not safe for work, maybe. Gave the new rules a spin for a 2-day in-person and digital sextival. And they broadcast kink workshops, adult performers, and erotic dancers. Now, the future of sex parties are going to continue to blend the virtual with the real by equipping the clubhouse with stripper poles, sex swings, cages, with cameras and computer screens throughout. I wonder how many of the Brad Squad have been to, I don't know. I mean, we're going to be back with Yo-Yo and Nesquik. These would be questions I would ask them. Yeah, not safe for work. Thank you, Bayuma. These are questions I would ask Nesquik and Yo-Yo. I'd be like, have you ever done this stuff before? And then Yo-Yo and Nesquik were like, seriously? You're putting me on camera right now live and asking me to answer these questions? But we'll get them back next week. We'll see what we got for Hump Day next week. Now, meanwhile, even during the pandemic, strippers have figured out, by the way, how to make a living online. Now, ever since the strip clubs were deemed non-essential in March, dozens of New York City's strippers have had to pivot from the pole to the personal computer to make ends meet. Now, since strip clubs have been deemed non-essential, everybody has now turned to cam girl sites. Now, performers are scrambling to book video appointments with clients, often through websites set up by local strip clubs. And while the city is finally beginning to reopen, strip clubs are not going to be switching on their lights anytime soon. They are grouped in phase 4 of Governor Cuomo's reopening plan, and NSFW not suitable or not safe for work also, I believe. Now, Evan Seinfeld, no relationship to Jerry, the CEO, or I don't believe, maybe he's related to Jerry. I have no idea. I just actually made that up. I don't believe. It's my belief he is not related to Jerry Seinfeld. The CEO of Is My Girl, a service on which performers sell photos or videos to followers, said that it is a 150% increase in people signing up. You know, and quite frankly, if I'm a stripper, you know what? And I'm gonna take all my clothes off. I'd rather do it on camera than do it on video than do it in a club. Nobody has to touch you. You don't even see who's looking at you. To me, that's my own personal opinion. Not that I've ever stripped in my life or plan on doing it, but if I had to choose between stripping in a club and being on a video, isn't it much better? Nobody's touching you. But I don't know. Jessica Leamy says he's sure Yo-Yo was there. He's not sure about Nesquik. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out, Jessica Leamy. That is for sure. And that is our Hump Day for Wednesday, June 24th. We got to get into our immigration questions. Before we get into our immigration questions, now is the time, ladies and gents, now is the time to start your watch parties. You share. There is a share button on the bottom of everybody's phone who's watching this right now. There is a share button. And on the share button, you can go write a post. You can watch a party. You can start a watch party. You can copy a link. You can send something to Messenger. So I am going to start a watch party. And let's see what happens when I start my watch party. I will be notified when people join. I wonder if anybody will join my watch party. A few people are joining right now. So you can definitely start a watch party. You can also press share and copy the link, and you can put it on your Messenger. You can also copy the link on Facebook, and you can put it on your. I have people who are watching the watch party. I do. There's a whole bunch of people. But you want to know what? If I start my watch party, I can't. I have to leave for now, the watch party, because if I start the watch party, I can't see the comments on the Facebook page. So I think maybe tomorrow I need more devices to start more watch parties. That's what I think. I think everybody needs more devices to start watch parties. And on YouTube, there is a thumb. You can turn it blue. You can also share this to your Facebook feed. You can share this to your Twitter feed. So if you're on Twitter or Facebook, share this right now. Why not? And give us a thumbs up. And by the way, next Wednesday, if you find Brad with a trophy, There is somewhere on our Instagram at Bradshaw Live, Brad with a trophy. You find me with the trophy and you tag 5 of your friends. You can be pulled out of my hat next Wednesday for a free consultation worth $200. Now, if you do not get your immigration questions answered by me, you could always follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. If you follow me at Real Brad Bernstein, you can drop me a DM. I apologize for those who dropped me a DM in the last 24 hours. I have been busy. I did not get to answer. I see there's a lot of questions. I will get to it tonight, so I will answer those people who did leave me a question on my DM at Real Brad Bernstein this evening. Hopefully, I'll have some time to do that. All right, so with that being said, we got to do something that we like to call, you got a question, I got an answer, and answering your immigration questions in our pandemic quarantine pop-up. All right, Kamar Salomon with a question on YouTube. He was arrested once back home. He paid a fine, no jail time. Would I have a problem adjusting? Well, you have a criminal conviction. Because you have a criminal conviction, that could be a problem adjusting. When you pay a fine, when you're arrested and you pay a fine, that is a punishment. That is a criminal conviction for immigration purposes, even though you never went to jail. So now the question becomes, what were you found guilty of? I don't have the slightest idea. If you tell us a little more, maybe we would be able to help you. So let us know, what were you found guilty of? Rupan Thakador. Hi, Brad. How are you? We are not fined because of the immigration ban. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Nobody is fined because of that. And hopefully, I'm very hopeful that courts are going to get involved and the courts are going to come in favor of the immigrants and lift that ban. Regardless, it is temporary, but yes, nobody is good because of it. Let's see what else we have here. Kadeen Cole says, hey, Uncle Brad, are spouses of green card holders still going to be documentarily qualified due to the ban? If you are a spouse of a green card holder living outside of the United States, you are part of the ban. If you are a spouse of a green card holder and you have a visa and can enter the United States, you would be able to adjust your status after entering the United States, provided you remain in status. So if you have a visitor's visa, the way to deal with spouses of green card holders is if you can get on a plane and visit America at some point over the next couple of weeks or month or 2 months, depending on what country you're from, where the planes are flying and everything else, that would be a way around this. You come visit, wait 90 days, and then adjust your status. Let's see. Kenmar Solomon asked the same question 1,000 times. I still need more information. DZ Infos. My wife is a U.S. citizen. She was with me in Algeria. The National Visa Center sent us an email that our case is documentarily completed and is ready for the interview. Is the IR1 visa, should I expect an interview or not with them suspending? You should expect an interview once the embassy opens. Spouses of U.S. citizens are not part of the ban. Rupan Thakador with more questions. Hi, the state is giving credit $400 and I'm paying $100 for a month to a Metro Plus health insurance. It's called Advanced Premium Tax Credit Health Insurance. Is this a public charge? I don't believe it is. I mean, I don't know. I would have to look at your health insurance plan, but I don't believe that is. Unless it is part of Medicaid, it wouldn't be a public charge. It sounds like it's more part of a state thing. But if it comes down to whether it's a public charge or not, I would need to go and review that actual particular medical plan. Tally, YouTube, please hit the gray thumb. Cuthbert Chukwamika. Hi, Brad. I just got my VAWA I-45 page updated that they requested for a document before they can decide on my case. My question is, once they send the document, will they just approve my green card? I have no idea, Cuthbert. I don't know what your case is about. I don't know if you're going to get an interview or you won't get an interview. I don't have the slightest idea. How would I know whether your case would be approved or not because you send in a document and I don't know anything about your case? Maybe you want a consultation and then I can tell you for sure. Let's see what else. Vinika Grant with a question. Hey, Brad, I hope you're doing good. How much do you know about Trump order about the suspension of H-1 visas and green cards? I'm filing for my husband. Will it affect him coming here? I know a lot about it. I know as much as any other human being on the face of this earth about the suspension. And if you are a U.S. citizen, it will not affect your husband in the filing. Grace Ann Mailer. Hi, Brad. Can I fill out the AR-11 form for my mom online? I'm the beneficiary. Also, if asking who completed the form, can I choose the option applicant petition? It requires an email address, mine's or mom. You can fill it out on behalf of your mom. That's perfectly fine. Tia Prasad, and yes, the applicant, the petition. You can give your email. That's perfectly fine. Tia Prasad, Uncle Brad is king of immigration reform. With him in this show, a lot of people have gained knowledge about their immigration questions and answers. So, Uncle Brad, I do appreciate what you are doing. That is a pre-comment of the day. I apologize. That could have been a comment of the day, but I made it pre-comment of the day. It looked like a question to me. But that is a very nice comment. So, thank you very much. PD with a question. Hello, Brad. Do you think I will still get my work permit during the whole delay at USCIS via marriage-based filing? Yes, I do. Yes, you will get a work permit. Absolutely. Wael Millie. Hey, Brad, I received a NOID, that is a notice of intent to deny, asking me for more papers. I got all of them, but one which is a lease from the landlord. He just wrote me a notarized letter for me and my wife's rent for him. Will I get my I-551 stamp? That is a question for the Magic 8 Ball, whether you will get your I-551 stamp. But if they asked for a lease and you have a notarized letter from your landlord, that would be sufficient. If you don't necessarily have to submit a lease. A letter from your landlord would be sufficient. Will you get your I-551 stamp? I don't have the slightest idea whether you'll get the I-551 stamp. That Magic 8 Ball will know. I don't have the Magic 8 Ball here today, though, unfortunately. So we can't ask. You'll have to come back another day and ask the Magic 8 Ball that. Sally Hagan. Can I apply for FAFSA with my worker's permit? I don't know what FAFSA is. If you can tell me what FAFSA is, I will let you know whether you can apply for it or not. Javido Denny, my case was dismissed. I got a pardon from Jamaica. Do I disclose it or do I need a waiver? Those are two different things. Your case was dismissed. That is one resolution. A pardon is a different resolution. So I don't know what happened on your case. Either way, you have to disclose it because there was an arrest at one point in time. Whether or not you are become eligible for your green card depends on why you got a pardon. Let's assume it's a pardon. If it's a rehabilitation statute, it's still a conviction. If it's a pardon because your rights were violated, it may not be. Your case was dismissed. Were you found guilty at some point? I don't know, Javito. I would need to know a lot more. Marcia Robinson with saying for everybody to give a thumbs up. I thought that was a question too. Thank you, Marcia. Godwin David says, hi, Brad. I sent my I-765 application to USCIS in March 27th, but the receive date was on May 4th. Does that mean that my application process will be delayed by a month? Yes. It took them that long to get your case out of the mailroom. Let's see what else we have here. Annie Mitchell. Hi, Uncle Brad. Is it possible to expedite a petition for a spouse who is in another country? You can always request it. What's the emergency? But you can always request it. The worst they'll say is no. Malia Koala. I have a friend who came here, 9N, on a visitor's visa. I don't know what 9N means, but came on a visitor's visa. While here, she found out that she won the visa lottery. Can she adjust her status or she has to go home and do all the paperwork there? Well, if you won the visa lottery, you can't adjust your status until October 1st. Will she still be legal status on October 1st on the visitor's visa? Then it depends on what her number is on the visa lottery. If she has a high number, they may or may not allow her to adjust with a high number exactly on October 1st. If her winning number is number 1, then yes, presuming that she is still in legal status. So she is going to need absolutely a consultation, because she's got to figure out how to stay in status well past October until her number on the visa lottery is called. The higher the number, the longer it will take to be called. The lower number, the more likely it is that you can adjust October 1st. Let's see. Max Taylor with a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. Is it safe for visitors to start to come to the USA on the visitor's visa? Well, I've been living here this whole time. I'm alive every day. So yeah, it's safe. You gotta be obviously careful. Make sure you're not, licking subway poles or anything. But yeah, wear a mask. Sanitize a lot. Social distance. It's perfectly safe to come. Mariatu, whether you can come or not from your particular country, that's a different story. It depends. For example, Europeans can't come to America right now. Mariatu Bengura. Hi, Uncle Brad. How do I get your consultation and how do I pay? Well, Mariata, for the last 52 minutes of our show, I put a note. It's scrolling underneath my chin right now. And the note says, call Brad for a consultation at 1-800-529-5465. Our international number is 212-227-8933. And when you call, we'll explain to you how you pay, and we give you all sorts of different options. So read right below. Just call, and then we'll give you all the information. Tori Davis, will Congress challenge this proclamation? Congress cannot challenge it. But aggrieved organizations and aggrieved people can challenge it in a federal court. There is, in my opinion, in terms of this proclamation, Congress, how our Constitution is set up is Congress passes a law and the president has to enforce the law. That is the rules of our Constitution. So if Congress passes a law, for example, and says, if you marry an American citizen or you're married to a permanent resident, this is the process, you can get a green card. And then the president signs the law. And now the president's job is to make a regulation, which is the process that you go through to get this green card if you're married to a citizen or you're married to a permanent resident. It's called regulation. That is the president's job. And the president can also make executive orders to enforce different regulations and procedures. I don't know when all of a sudden in the United States of America that the president can negate any laws he chooses not to enforce. For example, basically by this proclamation, he's saying, I am choosing not to enforce laws that were passed by Congress. To me, it's a blatant violation of the Constitution. Congress can pass a law saying no more green cards for permanent residents, but the president can't say, I refuse to enforce a law. That's basically what this proclamation is. So I would believe that there's going to be a lot of aggrieved people who sue the president of the United States and say, you're violating the law. You just made up something that you can't do, which is decide not to enforce laws. You have to enforce laws. And that's for a judge at a court to determine, not for Congress to determine. Javito Denny has asked the same question 100 times. You have to give me more information. Beverly Robinson. Hi, Brad. I got a 1-year work permit under an approved I-360 that expires in September 2020. Should I file an extension? Yes. Why not? And you should do it now. Tejaz Jaz says, hi, Brad. I'm on H-1B. My spouse and her family torture me for money. Oh, my gosh. She walked into the marriage with lots of debts and was asking me to pay her debts and lots of money to go for a green card interview. That sounds like a VAWA case, Tajaz. If you're getting tortured, I mean, that's abuse. You need to give me a call. You need to give me a call. Now, I'm not sure what your definition of torture and what's happening in the marriage. That we have to figure out. All right, let's see what's going on Facebook. Lots of questions on Facebook as well. Let's see where what we have here. What we have here on Facebook. Let's see. Uncle Brad, Sugar Sweetness says, Uncle Brad, please respond so I know what to do. I'm looking for your question, Sugar Sweetness. That's why I was going, but I don't see it. So please leave it again or drop me a DM on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. Garfield Smith, squat up, Brad. Does it matter if your case at the embassy was before the 24th of February, you did your interview and your case is not in the ban, or that's just crap interview, that's an immigrant visa? You need an immigrant visa. So if you didn't get an immigrant visa, you're in the ban unless your case was marriage to a U.S. citizen, child under 21 of a U.S. citizen, or parent of a U.S. citizen. Reginald Amata, just with a comment. We'll get back to him in a little bit. Brahim Okafor with a question. Hi, Brad. Can I get an I-551 stamp on an expired passport? Very hard to renew passport these days. You can bring your expired passport to get a stamp. They will not stamp an expired passport. But you can bring your expired passport as photo ID, and they will stamp a I-94 for you. That's what they would do. But they wouldn't stamp. They're not going to stamp an old passport, but you bring it as a identification. Let's see what else we have here. Lots of hi comments, which I'll read all later. Hump day comments, laughing. Stargo Mika with a question. Brad, when going to pay a visa fees to the National Visa Center, the applicant realizes that it states on his account that his year of birth is 65 when he's 166. What does he do? Write them and ask them to correct it. Laverne Parker says, hi, Brad. If you already do your medical and complete all the paperwork and you're just waiting on an interview date, how does this ban affect you? If you are not married to if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you're a child under 21 of a U.S. citizen or a parent of a U.S. citizen, it does not affect you. Other than that, you're going to wait, unfortunately, until a court overturns the ban or 2021. Lionel Salvatore Basiga. Hi, Brad. I changed my status from an F1 to an H1B and got my approval notice for the H1B in May. My job requires international travel from time to time, so I'm wondering, with the current ban, will I be able to get the visa stamp from an embassy abroad when they open? No, you will not be able to. You will be able to stay here in the United States in status, but if you leave, you're not going to get an H1B visa stamp. So you can maintain your status here, but unfortunately you can't travel at the moment. By the way, Beuma, I don't know how Beuma knows all this information, but has a little extra information on the down low. It says lots of legal strip clubs and gentlemen clubs. Some people need their fix. I don't know how he knows about all the illegal strip clubs, but you can share your information with us. Mother of Boys Alexander with a question. I applied for my citizenship in February as I received my receipt in March. My green card expires in October, and I have not received anything since. Should I be worried at this point, or what should I do? Well, you're a permanent resident, so you have nothing to worry about. Just because your green card expired, your citizenship is pending. If you're concerned, you can spend the money and file an I-90. It's $545 filing fee, and renew your green card. Otherwise, you're going to wait probably till the winter to become a citizen. Maybe sometime November, December, January, February. So if you need your green card between now and then, go renew your green card on the I-90. Otherwise, just wait on your citizenship. But should you be worried? No, you should not be worried. Elaine McBean, Jake Johnson says, I have a friend from Jamaica. Can she stay in the U.S. and file for a U visa? Yes, if she is the victim of a crime and suffered an injury. Laverne Parker with a question. Brad, if I file for my children and they did get their interview dates, but because of the virus, it was canceled. Now the guy put on another ban. Are they have to do another medical, and what's the effect they have on the case? Well, if they're F2Bs or F1s, they're in the ban. And if their medical is over a year old, yes, they will have to do another medical. Let's see what happens. As I said, I don't think most people are going to take this sitting down. I think there's going to be a lot of lawsuits to overturn the ban. Anita Nelson. Hello, Uncle Brad. Please, after the Stokes interview, it's been 5 months now, no decision yet. What do you think you're going to hear from USCIS? I don't know when you're going to hear from USCIS, but the longer it takes them to make a decision, the less likely it is, unfortunately, that you will get approved. Because if you did well in your Stokes interview, it's very easy to press a button and just say you're approved because it's a form letter. If you're denied on the Stokes interview, the officer actually has to write a decision and then get approval from supervisor for the decision. And that takes time to write a decision and get approval and blah, blah, blah. So hopefully you pass. I don't know when they're going to give you a decision. But the longer it takes, the less likely, unfortunately, but you never know. Tremaine Ramdeen has a question, says, hi, Brad. Good day. It's been 1 year and 2 months now since I applied for my citizenship and I passed and I got my approval letter, but I haven't gotten my oath ceremony. I sent them a letter and still nothing. What should I do? Send them another letter. They've got to start doing oath ceremonies soon. They're considering doing it by video conference. I think personally Trump is trying to postpone oath ceremonies till at least September or October so that new citizens do not become a citizen and then get to vote in November. So I think he's purposely not doing oath ceremonies to get less people to become a citizen, because presumably anyone who becomes a citizen is not going to vote for Trump. And the last question for this round, we'll be back with more immigration questions in a little bit, but the last question for this round says, hi, Brad. Is it true that when you file for your children, they get married before the approval and interview, that they're disqualified? It is true that if you file for your children as a lawful permanent resident and they get married, they are disqualified. When you file for your children, they're in the F2A or F2B category. Both of those are for unmarried children, F2A being under 21, F2B being over 21. There is no category for married children of permanent residents. So as soon as they marry, that's it. Now, if you file as a U.S. citizen parent for an unmarried child and they marry, they would go to the F3 category. And in the F3 category, that's a 15-year wait. If you're filing for an unmarried child under the age of 21 and they get married, they would not qualify any longer for any visa because they got married, because there's only unmarried children under the age of 21. All right, so with that, for today's hump day, we thought we'd throw it back to last year when Jonathan played a game of ratified marriage with Georgia and Matteo, a couple who was visiting New York City from Italy, testing them to see if they could pass a USCIS Stokes marriage interview. So basically, when you go for a marriage interview at immigration, they're going to separate you, and they may ask you many of these questions that Jonathan just asked Georgia, or is about to ask you to see Georgia and Matteo. This is a real couple. So you can imagine a real couple may or may not be able to pass an interview. And if it's your immigration interview and put the added stress, this couple's having fun, the added stress, you better really think long and hard about how you're going to prepare for this Stokes interview. Let's watch and see how Georgia and Matteo did.
What's up, Brad Squad? It's your boy Jonathan Elias out here in the hot streets of New York, and today we have another episode of Bradified Marriage. All right, y'all already know, in order for a citizen or a resident to petition for their spouse, they have to pass the Stokes interview. That's when the immigration officers put them in separate rooms and test them to see how well they know each other and see if their marriage is bona fide. So now we're gonna get two lucky people to see how well they know each other and see if they can pass the Bradified Marriage. You let us know in the comments if you think they passed or not. Let's go get them. right, Brad Squad, I have my favorite couple right here from Italy. What's your name?
Matteo?
Giorgia.
And we're gonna play Bratified Marriage. And I have to get my handy dandy headphones. Look, stand right behind us. You put them on so you can't cheat. So now, how long have you been with your girlfriend?
A year and a half?
Okay, so I think that's good enough to know each other.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I guess.
All right, first question. How does your partner like their eggs cooked? Does she like eggs? How do you like your eggs cooked?
Friday.
She's not fond of, but doesn't hate him.
Okay. So we'll say she doesn't like them. How does your boyfriend like his eggs cooked?
Fried eggs.
Fried.
Who said I love you first?
He says.
Well, she said that. Who said I love you first?
I did.
Okay. What do you call her? What's her pet name?
Coco.
Oh, I like that.
Coco.
And how about you call him? What do you call him?
Same.
Oh, the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Like coconut?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your favorite song as a couple?
Amore ritorna.
Oh shit. I don't think we have any. Let me think about it. That's a tough one.
It's an Italian song.
Okay.
I just can't think of a single song. I am ashamed. Can I skip this one?
How many computers or laptops do you have?
Just one?
Just
One laptop.
How many does she have?
0?
Me. No one.
Okay. And how many does your boyfriend have?
One for sure.
Okay.
One. I know.
That you know. He better not have no secret one.
Probably.
Do you guys live together?
Yeah.
Okay. How many windows do you have in your house or apartment?
I'd say 4.
4.
What do you wear to bed?
Nothing.
Ooh, I like that. And what does your girlfriend wear to bed?
Just panties.
Okay, yeah, there you go. And what does he wear to bed?
Nothing.
Ooh. Who fell asleep first last night?
She did.
He did.
He did? Okay, so there we go. Come on. I think you guys did pretty good. Let's see. How do you like your eggs cooked? 1, 2, 3.
Friday.
Fried.
You gotta say it at the same time, or else it doesn't count. So, how does she like her eggs cooked? 1, 2, 3.
I don't know.
He was like, I don't know. She doesn't like it, I don't think. Okay, who said I love you first? 1, 2, 3.
He
I
did.
did.
There you go. What is your pet name for each other? 1, 2, 3.
Coco.
There you go. It makes you feel good though. You know each other, right?
Yeah, we're doing good.
You're doing good. Okay, now on the count of 3, what is your couple song? Your favorite song as a couple? 1, 2, 3.
Amore ritorna.
Oh.
Oh my God! You said you don't have one.
We didn't have anybody.
Yeah, one.
I knew I was gonna.
He was
regret it.
thinking. He was like, I already know. On the count of 3, how many computers or laptops does she have? 1, 2, 3.
0.
Okay, on the count of 3, how many laptops or computers does he have? 1, 2, 3.
1.
She said, I think. He better only have one. Better not be no secret one.
Yeah, a public one.
On the count of 3, how many windows do you have in your house? 1, 2, 3.
4.
Look, surprise there. Yeah, you got it.
But yeah, it was like average.
Yeah.
On the count of 3, what does she wear to bed? 1, 2, 3.
Underpanties.
On the count of 3, what does he wear to bed? 1, 2, 3.
Nothing.
Look at he doesn't like clothes, guys. He doesn't. Who fell asleep first last night? 1, 2, 3.
She did.
Oh.
She was all jet lagged and up and she fell asleep first. So
Could be.
I'm quite.
It's good luck. That's good luck. Look, good luck. Oh, right. I think you guys did pretty good. All right. I think you would pass. You can have American citizenship now. All right, Brad Squad, my good friends from Italy. I think they did pretty good. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Brad, what's up? Did they pass or did they not?
They definitely passed, but I don't know if I've ever heard them ask a question, what kind of eggs do you like? I think that's a made-up question here on Bratified Marriage. But I have heard them ask, what do you wear to bed at night? I've heard them ask intimate questions. I've heard them ask, what's your contraception that you use? So yes, I've heard those questions for sure. Let's go back to some more immigration questions before we end our show. Erica Ewell on YouTube asks a question. Hey, Uncle Brad, how you been? Quick question. Is it okay to work in a different state after you get your work permit? Will it be a problem during the interview? If you're not living with your spouse, you're not going to pass your interview. You just saw Bratified Marriage, Erica. Erica Brown with a question. K1 visa petition approved, but at the National Visa Center, will this move to Jamaica for the interview? Yes, it will. K1s are not on the Trump list. Let's go back to Facebook now. Hi, Uncle Brad. A friend of mine in Jamaica was arrested over 10 years ago. According to him, his girlfriend at the time accused him of being violent. The case was eventually dismissed and he did not pay any fine. Will his past arrest prevent him from getting a green card if he should file? No, it sounds like he was arrested and the case was dismissed. So I think that would be okay. Aya Ahmad. Hello, Brad. Can you please help explain the public charge form and how to prove that I will be included under my spouse's health insurance? Also, what kind of paperwork will I need to attach? Well, how would you be included under your spouse's health insurance? You can get a letter from the spouse's employer that they have health insurance and that the spouse has inquired about health insurance. And when you become legal in America, you will be included on it. Just get something from the spouse's employer saying that you can be included on it when you have a social security number and when you become legal. And then he'll come to testify at the interview and say, here, I'm going to put her on as soon as she's legal. Monica Stone with a question. If a parent files for their unmarried child, the child must not get married before file. Oh, this is a statement. Nama Wat, just be you. No matter what. Boy, I can't read these days. No matter what, just be you. Hi, Uncle Brad. How you been? Quick question. Is it okay to work? I answered that. It's going to be a problem because if you're work in a different state and you're not living with your spouse, you're going to have a big problem. You got to live together in a marriage. When you're doing a marriage case, there's two things. Number one, you and your spouse have to live together. Number two, you have to have a financial relationship. So if you have a financial relationship and you live together, you will get through. If you are living apart, they presume you are not in a bona fide marriage, and it becomes extraordinarily difficult to ultimately get your green card. Let's see what else we have here. Rodrigo Costa Gongalves. Hi, Uncle Brad. I had my I-140 approved within 10 months and no RFE. And now my I-45 says that my case was transferred to a new office that has jurisdiction. What does this mean? It means your case was transferred to a new office that has jurisdiction, and presumably that is the office that is going to presumably approve your case. So that's the case. That's the office that's going to approve it. Let's see. Koyan Mash. My wife is pregnant, U.S. citizen using Medicaid and SNAP. When is the right time she should cancel Medicaid? Within 4 weeks of giving birth or less. If she's on Medicaid more than 28 days after giving birth, you're in deep doo-doo. So she's got to stop it within 28 days of giving birth or less. Gail Alicia. Hi, Brad. My husband traveled on a visitation visa. He was charged with possession of marijuana in 2006. He had to pay a fine. He traveled back to Jamaica in 2007. He was detained at the airport, flying into New York, and was sent back to Jamaica with a 5-year travel ban. How can I go about filing for him? Depends on how much marijuana he had. If it was a joint, then you can do a waiver. But if it was more than 30 grams of marijuana, which I guess is 1 or 2 joints, he's barred for life from coming to America as a drug trafficker. And that's what they're going to say. So it depends on the amount of marijuana. If it's less than 30 grams, he would need 2 waivers, 1 waiver for the actual conviction and 1 for the deportation. So we got to figure out, or you got to ask him, how much are we talking about here? Sasha Ford, which goes back to don't travel with weed in your suitcase. You're just looking for trouble. Sasha Ford. They asked questions. Let's see. That was just a statement. Let's see if there's anything else. Shernette with the last question. What if you're living together but don't have a financial account together? If you're living together but you don't have a financial relationship, you have unlikely proven that you are in a bona fide marriage. Living together without a financial relationship is unlikely to get a green card. You need to be in a financial relationship and living together. And that just doesn't mean having a bank account. It means having a unified joint financial relationship where you are responsible jointly for all the debts of the marriage. You pay all the debts of the marriage jointly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our Hump Day show for the day. Do we have some comments of the day, Lee? Comments of the day. Mother of Boys Alexander, squad up, Uncle Brad and team. Thanks for what you do for all of us. Thank you, Mother of Boys. Carol, the Top Cat Tigress 2 Anderson. This is my news channel. It's epic to listen to. I look forward every evening to my favorite show ever. Brad, keep it up. Thank you, Carol. Sherry Bushy Forster, squad up to the best group of people on the planet. Hello, Sir Brad. Yes, you need to be knighted. I hope so one day. 29 Super C, that camel was sure rolling today for Hump Day. It was. And thank you very much. And since June is Immigrant Heritage Month, dedicated to celebrating the diversity of American culture, I am signing off all during the month of June with a video showcasing some of the many immigrant American stories people have shared with us over the years at Bradshaw Live. Let's watch.
I came from Dominican Republic 22 years ago. I'm still here, so my roots are in Dominican Republic.
I'm Polish. My dad immigrated from Poland when he was about 8 or 9 years old. I'm also Jewish. So my other side of the family, they were born here, but they are German Jewish.
I'm Panamanian, and I'm Costa Rican. So beyond that, I was born here, but my parents were born in Panama and Costa Rica.
So I was born here, I was raised here. My parents came from Italy. They stayed and they raised us here. But they taught us all the same values and everything, all the lessons learned in Italy.
And my great-grandparents are from Italy. Ferraras is in our family for 5 generations. 3 generations are working right now. It was both actually on my grandmother and my grandfather's side, and they got married. So for my father, it was from his mother and his father.
One part of my family came here in the 1600s, and another part came in the late 1840s. So Civil War from Germany, and some from Scotland and Ireland and England.
We trace back the Scottish background to my great-great-grandfather, who was born in 1825 in North Carolina. And then I have slave-descended background. And then my great-grandfather is from the Bahamas. And also American Indian in there as well. So it's kind of all mixed together.
My grandparents came from Russia, and my wife's parents came from Italy. They immigrated back in 1910, and they became citizens, and life started from there. I'm third-generation immigrant.
Nice.
As we all are.
My immigration story was blind love. I met my husband online. Yeah, they say love at first sight. I say love at first email. It's been 12 years, happily married, 2 kids.
We came in 2006. We came as a whole family, and I was 14 when I came here, and we were chasing the American dream for a better future.
I came here 8 years ago because I'm married with my husband. And my cousin Nigel, he came here because study here, and then he decided to live here.
My family, they're actually of Ecuadorian descent. I'm the first member of my family to be born here in America. Well, basically it all starts with my grandpa. He was the one who initiated the start to move to the United States. Him and my grandmother had 12 kids. They brought them here to the States. The economic standpoint at that time wasn't a good one. They struggled to get to where they are today, but thanks to God and everything, everything went well, and I was able to be born here along with my other cousin who was also born in America. So it's honestly been a great journey, thanks to him. That's my grandpa.